I've been
Okay.
living on bananas recently because I haven't had time to get food.
Good day, people. David's just having a banana. Yes, what is it? It's 3:15. He hasn't had any breakfast yet. So, for those that don't know, I'm Angie Disney, Angela Disney, and this is David Ward, also known as Baron David Ward on Facebook. And you can catch up on the last couple of marathon videos we did together. And I also looked at one today that had on somebody else's channel, had 152,000 views. So that's great. This is going to be a brief video. David, although we operate at different fields, but sometimes, you know, our paths cross, and I'm very grateful for the advice and support David's giving me. And just for those that don't know, I may be preempting this, but actually I think proactive is probably the best. A year and a half ago, I had my house raided by 5 detectives and my computer and 2 laptops and a phone seized on foot of a online harassment allegation by Ricky DEARMAN, the alleged cult leader of the Hampstead case. He has gone after the other campaigners based in the UK and has a 100% success rate in getting them imprisoned or sectioned or both, or cautioned with a criminal record or silenced. So he's ventured into Ireland because, well, the thing that triggered him finally, although he always had it on his list to silence me, I've been investigating and covering his children's disclosures since February 2015, so 5 years. But the thing that triggered him was he assumed a fake identity and got one for his children too, and then put them back in the public spotlight in an eBay promotional video, international promotional video. And I blogged about it without naming him or the children, but obviously people that follow my work knew immediately who it was. His own organization then confirmed the identities the following day in a blog post they wrote about mine. And he flew to Ireland and filed, or tried to file, he definitely filed a harassment complaint against me. And sadly, the Irish government, the Garda Síochána, the Irish police, they did go ahead and send a file to the DPP just over a year ago. And then they did go to the district court in Trim a couple of weeks ago and got an order for Google to give access to my data, which I'd offered freely. I'd invited them into my home to show them the evidence on the case. And the evidence of my own being trolled horrendously and harassed and stalked and death threatened and reputation destroyed, you know, and so on and so forth. So I'm awaiting a decision from the DPP. The detective sergeant has told me the DPP should have everything they need to make a decision now about whether to proceed to trial, to take me, a campaigner, a survivor, to court for allegedly harassing somebody whose children made the most horrendous disclosures about their father and a ring in Hampstead. Do your research. Legendarycampaign.com is a good resource for all the evidence, all the disclosures and so on. So, yeah, I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall, and I'm processing through the anxiety and the fear and the, you know, all the rest of it. And I've just decided that I'm not going to play the game of getting a solicitor and, you know, going to a pretend court in front of a pretend judge and making, you know, being, you know, I don't want to act out of my fear, even though, you know, you can feel the fear and do it anyway. And what I've decided is to go the brave route and actually the lawful route, and just point out who has authority over whom and who really should be being investigated. So I've printed out 3 copies of a 64-page affidavit put together by David, who's a bit of a tech genius and is in a very strong position to advise on the breach of laws and the legal situation, because he has been through it. And this was a point he was making yesterday, that the more they apparently make us suffer, the more ammunition they actually give us, legal ammunition, documents, evidence, and so on. So David's just going to advise me to whom to dispatch these 3 copies of affidavit and a covering letter. So do you want to how do you want to do this, David? Do you want to dictate a covering letter, or the first one you've advised me to address one of them to the complainant, who's Ricky DEARMAN, and send that care of Claire Loftus, the Director of Public Prosecutions in Ireland. I don't have a case number per se, because she hasn't made a decision on whether to proceed to trial. The only case number I've got is the one allocated by the district court when they gave the police permission to access all my Google data and YouTube's. So should I use that reference, or should I just presume that she will know, or she will look up Ricky DEARMAN versus Angela Power Disney?
Well, we're not going to make any presumptions, and we really don't care. We're going to implement a strategic, both psychological and legal offensive, which will all be done by mail.
Okay. So the 3 that you asked me to print out, which I've done, one is for Claire Loftus, which is the Director of Public Prosecutions, who is currently, her office is considering whether or not there's enough evidence to go to trial.
Considering whether or not, this is the point, okay? This guy has he's not made a claim, he's made a complaint, okay? He's made a complaint to the DPP.
No, to the police, who have forwarded it to the DPP.
Forwarded it to the DPP.
Yeah.
Okay? So basically, ignore the police, set them out the equation, they forwarded it to the DPP, he's made a complaint. Now that puts the onus on whether or not the DPP actually wants to bring this to court or not. They've got a choice to make.
Yeah.
And he has taken that approach instead of making a direct application to the court against you, because he could have done this straight for you in the court, started proceedings in the court, either in the criminal or civil court. But he's not done that. He's taken a different road where he's made a complaint. And therefore, it's now the DPP that have to make a decision on whether or not they're going to go ahead with these proceedings to courts, whether it's criminal or civil.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
And therefore, if the DPP decide not to, then Ricky is basically being, go away, have a nice day, son.
Right.
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 So,
can the DPP decide if something is a civil matter or not?
well, I've been looking at that, whether or not it's civil or whether it's criminal. So I've been doing some research on Google is the key thing, to look at different cases and in what circumstances, and the difference is extreme, because if it's going to be criminal, they've got to prove absolutely, undeniably, that you have had a criminal intention to harm him. Okay, they've got to prove absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, that it is your demonstrated intention by the evidence that you have shown that you have got an intention to harm him in person.
Right. No, I never have.
Or have somebody else harm him in person, to hurt him. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be criminal.
It's interesting you say that, because he's tried to imply that on 2 occasions. In my blog post of June 2018, I wrote a piece and I said, if there are any anons out there, because there's been a lot of evidence surfaced about what they call backdoors to porn on servers used by him and various companies he's registered as director or secretary of, which are multiple. And there's work being done on that. But in the blog post, I said, I asked the anons to check the websites connected to the eBay promotional video, to check them for backdoors. Now, anybody who's got any knowledge of technology knows that that means see if there's porn or something being distributed in a way that's not showing up on that website. But he tried to say that by saying backdoors, I was making a threat against him and his children's lives for asking people to go to their home and go in their back doors, which is ridiculous. And in my statement to the police on the day they raided my house, I said to them, that's absolutely not the case. And Ricky DEARMAN knows enough about technology to know that that was not what I was saying. And another occasion he tried to imply that I was inciting people to try and kill him was I got information that he had gone to the Philippines with the children. And it was around the time when the president of the Philippines, or prime minister, whatever they call them, had announced that there would be not exactly an amnesty, but he was trying to clean up the Philippines in terms of child sex trafficking and pornography distribution. And he announced that there would be very favorable treatment given to anybody, any criminals who took care of dealers in porn and kiddies, you know, that kind of thing. So I had mentioned that in a video, and I had said he had been located in the Philippines with the children. Now, my primary concern has always been the children, and I was horrified that not only was he getting unsupervised access, but he was able to take them to a country renowned for child sex trafficking and child porn distribution. And I got a message sent saying that an assassination attempt had been made on his life, and that the assassins had missed him and had wounded Elisa, and it was all my fault because I'd incited people to assassinate him. So it's interesting you say that for a criminal case to stand, he would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, or without doubt, irrevocably, that I had either threatened or incited others to harm him physically, which anybody that follows my work will know. I'm a pussycat. I've never advocated. I know there are those that say string them up, castrate them, lynch them, whatever. All I've ever asked for is for the case to be properly criminally, well, really, the bottom line is rescue those children and listen to them. And, you know, if we were going to go through the legal proceedings as they are, it should have been done properly, you know. So I have never threatened his life nor incited others to threaten his life. But interestingly, he might try and imply that I have.
Well, right, he has implied, but we don't mind, we don't care what he has implied.
Well, he's screenshot, he's got a professional company and screenshot. I've been trolled for 5 years. They've screenshotted and lifted everything I've done on any social media platform whatsoever. They've also manipulated screenshots, edited them and added things into them. And I was able to prove how that was done, you know. So if he wants to play this out.
Well, if you've already proven how that was done and the DPP already have that evidence, and they've already got all your computers anyway, so they can make a cross-reference between what documents is online or where these documents have come from and that evidence, and do a cross-reference with what's on your computer to know that it's been edited and changed. You know, that's what the DPP investigation is all about. That's what they've got to do.
Well, it's supposed to be technically, but I've had computers remotely fried. I backed up things. I've got things backed up. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think I've lost anything. But they're not all on the computer that they've taken. And it depends how... So you can spin a narrative. And if he spins a narrative, she's been... Well, I don't know. But just let's get back to the basics.
Let's get back to the basics.
What do I say in a cover letter to Claire Loftus?
So I've looked at criminal, okay, regarding harassment and under the Harassment Act, and it's the people who are stalking people and do have an intention to do some harm.
Yeah, well, you see, that's not me, and that's a good law. I mean, that's you know, that's exactly. A good law.
So from what I can see, it's highly unlikely that the DPP are going to take this down a criminal route, but they might go down a civil route.
Well, but can they do that? Is the DPP allowed to decide if something's a civil matter?
Yes, that's their job. They're the investigation office of the doing the investigation to decide, and it is purely their decision. If they are going to go ahead with a procedure in court, whether or not they are going to be doing it in a legal or a criminal court. You know, it's no longer he's no longer got a decision in that because he's made a complaint. He's out of that loop, and it's down to the DPP.
Okay, so he's given away his autonomy, his power of attorney or whatever, to the police and then indirectly to the DPP.
Well, he hasn't given power of attorney. He's just made a complaint. He hasn't given power of attorney.
Well, you see, the way it works is when he makes a complaint, he then doesn't become the main prosecutor. He becomes a witness.
That's right. He then becomes a witness, and it's a DPP that will be bringing any case.
And just to rewind on something you said earlier, you said that he could have filed court papers against me himself. Could he do that as a British citizen in the Republic of Ireland?
Yeah. It's not going to be easy because he's in a different jurisdiction, but it can be done. And this is why he's used it as a complaint, because you were in Ireland, and it's going to be extremely difficult for him to do that. But yes, it can be done. And it's why he's used the complaint procedure where the DPP are going to bring the prosecution, whether it's in the civil or criminal. That's exactly why he's done it as a complaint and not done it in person.
And the DPP could conduct a civil trial, a civil case against me?
Yes, they would be the prosecution.
I didn't know they could do civil cases.
Well, why not?
I don't know. I just thought that was different. But
so the DPP have got to look at viability on whether they've got sufficient evidence, in fact, to be absolutely critically, it's there that you have a malicious intent to cause this man physical harm.
Yeah, well, I never have. And anybody that tries to prove that is just, they haven't done their research. They haven't done their homework.
Right. So that evidence is not available. So it's highly unlikely that the DPP are going to attempt to do something in a criminal court. So the only option they've got left there is to go for civil.
Right.
Yeah. You've got to be able to evaluate what possibilities that they can do. What can they implement in cause and effects, and what evidence they have. Well, if there's no evidence of a criminal intent to cause this man a harm, a physical harm, you've not been stalking him, you've not been sending him...
stalking him, I haven't focused on him. The only thing I've done is swat him away when he's given me grief.
Yeah.
I've focused on what his children said.
Yeah.
How their disclosures were mishandled.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned with him. Do you see what... It's like, may God deal with him and may justice deal with him. But my concern is for the children, and not just his children. The children talked about 20 of them in their own school in Hampstead, and 7 other schools in the area where this paedophile ring was operating, possibly still is, allegedly. Anyway, so I'll tell you what I've written so far. Dear Miss Loftus, case with you for quote-unquote consideration on foot of a complaint filed by UK citizen Ricky Dearman against myself, Angela Power Disney. And then I enclose for your attention.
Well, there isn't a case at this point.
Well, file. I put file with you. What do you call it? It's not a case. Okay, good point.
Because there's no case in court. She hasn't got a case.
All right, so file. File with you for quote-unquote consideration on foot of a complaint filed by UK citizen Ricky Dearman against myself, Angela Power Disney, allegedly for harassment.
Well, I need to discuss with you what we're going to do before we actually start typing up a document.
Sorry, right, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So leave that alone for a bit. We don't need that.
No, it's only a draft. I'm just doing a draft with you.
Yeah, okay. So the probability of the DP, I can't see the DPP going into the criminal court, and therefore they're going into the civil. Yeah.
If they even go into the civil court, if they examine my tech, even the tech they've got, if they examine it thoroughly, they'll be recommending a case I take against him, if anything.
Well, they should.
Yeah.
But that is not. They are not.
That's not their job.
That's not their purpose. They received a complaint from him, so they are investigating it from that perspective. On his
behalf. So they do have 3 choices. They don't just say criminal or civil. They can say criminal, civil, or insufficient evidence.
Yes. And therefore, if they decide there is insufficient evidence on civil and criminal, they just turn around to this Ricky DEARMAN and say, sorry, son, we're not taking this forward. Have a nice day.
Yeah, that's the outcome I'm praying for. But prepare, what is it? Hope for the best and prepare for the worst is what I'm doing.
Right. So, okay. So we've got two things that we need to prepare for. One is criminal and one is civil. And we are armed and dangerous on both counts.
Now, again, metaphorically armed and dangerous.
No. We are legally armed and dangerous.
Yes, I know, but I want to say metaphorically, legally, we're not talking
not talking physical, no.
Right.
Yeah, in that context.
Because this is the kind of thing they cut and paste and edit in my videos to make their case. This is what they do, malicious editing. And they could just snip that bit, we're armed and dangerous, and they'd say, look, Your Honour, we've got proof. This David Ward said him and Angela were armed and dangerous.
But I'm going to change that. I'm going to retract armed and dangerous.
Okay, good.
Armed and dangerous is now retracted in the narrative, yeah, on this video.
Yeah.
Therefore, formally and officially and legally, I have now retracted the terms that I just used, armed and dangerous.
And that's why I'm saying I've learned the hard way how to be careful with words.
Yeah.
But not just for that reason. You know, I do get it. You have to be, I mean, words are powerful and creative. But also, even if I'm careful with my words, which I always am, and say allegedly and in my opinion and so on, they still do malicious editing, or they mess with screenshots and add threats to them and so on and so forth, you know.
Right. And now we're going to go for worst case scenario here.
Yeah.
Which is highly unlikely.
Right. Yeah.
The DPP do bring a criminal case against you in a government court.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we've already won the case law, and we've already served the affidavit, and the evidence is in that affidavit, which has been agreed to implicitly, not been rebutted, rejected, or contested in any way. The state, the government, is a company, and that's verified and is doctrine that a state is a company, and as it is a company, it is no different to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an Exhibit C in the affidavit, which I served upon the 657 MPs in office. So first of all, they're not a government, they've got no authority, they're just a company.
Okay.
The second part, which was actually the first part of the Exhibit C, I combined the two, where the Lord Chief Justice Sir Jack Beatson, FBA, confirmed the facts, and this is published on the judiciary's website, that the office of the judiciary was a sub-office of the company, because we can't use state anymore, or we could say company states. So therefore, by de facto, by default, the fact is that the judge has got no authority to actually preside in a criminal case, period. You can't do it. It's impossible. Not unless that judge can prove definitively and absolutely that he has legal authority. And that judge cannot prove absolutely and definitively that he has legal authority to act in the position of a judge, because the 64.2 million people in the UK,
and don't forget, I'm in the Republic of Ireland.
And the 5 million people in the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
So let's apply it to the 5 million people in the Republic of Ireland have not formally agreed to be governed and given their legal consent, where it can be conceived that the people of the Republic of Ireland have transferred their power of attorney to the government, where the government can represent them and there can be a judge with any authority.
Right.
So
now,
that Exhibit C alone, on its own, combined with the case that I won, means there is no judge.
Okay, and just on a side note from that, after watching the video this morning that had 152,000 views so far, I'll include a link to that in the description box. The policeman made a good point, because you said to the policeman, because of what I've shown you, if you continue to empower these bailiffs to steal from me unlawfully, you're breaking the law. And the sergeant said to you, but according to your paradigm, there is no law. So it's a moot point. How are you saying I'm breaking the law if the law is not?
Well, this is why we have to be mindful of what we're saying to these people, because they can spin it back because we've used the word law. There is no such thing as law. So we can't use that word law. So we can't say to them, you are breaking the law.
So in your utopia vision of the future, you're going back to common law, which
No, this is the actual way things are right now. And I'm not going back to common law because there's no such thing as common law.
Okay. So in your
I'm on about the world of facts right now today.
Okay, so in your world of in the world of facts, so if somebody causes harm, loss, or injury to another, which I haven't done to Ricky DEARMAN, you know, his own flesh and blood children made devastating disclosures, naming him repeatedly in great detail, and they did not get properly dealt with. And grown-ups like myself have tried to stand in the gap for those children who are now in captivity, as I would call it. So if somebody does harm, loss, or injury, how do you deal with it if it's not through the corporations of courts and judges and solicitors and prisons and blah, blah?
Excellent question. And I've got a just as good answer. The victim has the right to redress by way of the fact that someone has caused them injury, loss, or harm. They are a victim. And the victim has a right, because they have been caused injury, loss, or harm, and they have a right to redress. Now, that doesn't mean running into the courtroom. They can choose, pick and choose what right to redress they wish.
Okay.
And if that means hunting someone down and doing whatever they wish, then that is their wish, because they have the right to redress and choose what that redress is.
But I don't want a law. Now, lawlessness is a funny word, but
well, that's not lawless.
Personally, so it would be. So if it's
got nothing to do with law, because law does not exist. We've got to remove that word law from our brain, from our narrative.
What I'm trying to say is, if we dismantle society's bodies as they are lawfully, then what do we replace them with in order for there not to be chaos and murder and the Wild West?
We do it exactly as I have been doing it, and we do it legally.
Okay, lawfully.
Because legal, where it is legal, comparatively speaking, because there is no law, but it is lawful. I've done everything lawful.
Right.
Okay. And where a judge has presided over the case concerning me, and where a judge has made a court order concerning me and given me a court order, I've done this in real life 8 times. I then turn round to that judge. Now, okay, this has all been civil. I've never been in the criminal court. But I then turn round to that judge and I say, here's my material evidence, because you sent me this case file where there has been a judge's decision and you have presided. This is now my material evidence. Okay?
Right.
So, by presenting you, by stepping foot in that courtroom, by undertaking that physical act,
right,
he is claiming to be a judge and is claiming to have authority.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. Judge, you have made a claim, and he who makes a claim carries the obligation to present the foundation in evidence of that claim.
Okay.
That is a maxim in fact. People say a maxim in law, but we got to get rid of the use of law. It's a maxim in facts.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So, as being as the judge now has an obligation to present the 64.2 million people who have given their consent and agreed to be governed, and without that, he's not a judge and he has no authority.
Okay.
And if he does not do that and cannot do that, he's got 7 days. And if he's not presented that material evidence in 7 days, then District Judge Lateef has formally agreed. There is now a formal agreement between Mr. David Ward and District Judge Lateef and the Office of the Judiciary. The District Judge Lateef has committed fraud, where fraud is a criminal offence, and which carries a term of incarceration of 7 to 10 years. And you need to read the files, because this goes on and on and on.
Okay, got it.
It would take me 5 minutes just to recite that.
Okay, so the only way I would go to court is under duress, and let's face it, if you resist following orders, which I intend to, if they're unlawful, I do run the risk of being manhandled and hurt. But look, well, you know.
No, you're not resisting arrest because your arrest is illegal, and therefore I don't get hurt. I've been dragged into.
I can just say verbally, I'm under duress. You're causing me alarm and distress. I do.
When I got in that courtroom, in that glass box, well, first of all, I'm here under duress. Clearly, I'm here in this glass box.
That's my words are enough to say that. So if they carry me in or push me in or wheel me in or whatever, I'll just announce I am here under duress. I did not consent to being here.
And then the next thing I said when I was in that glass box in my socks was, where is your warrant for my arrest? Because without that document, without that legal warrant, there's an act of terrorism here, because you do not have the legal capability to bring me into this courtroom.
Okay.
And then I'd say directly on the clerk, get your head in your computer, print off that warrant, because I want a copy of it now.
Okay. All right. So what do I say to Claire Loftus? I've started this.
No, we're still discussing a strategic method of operation here. Okay. We've not got to compile in a document. Now, you want to get to do that, we're discussing a strategic operation that we are going to implement.
Right.
Okay? Because what I'm saying, and the facts are, the judge has got no authority. He cannot preside. And Claire Loftus, she's going to know this implicitly, because we are going to include this, okay? She's going to get a copy of this affidavit, and in this document that you're going to write up, you're going to include the URL links to the 5 cases where I've destroyed the district judge, where I've legally brought charges against him for his criminal offence, and he's standing as a surety. So we're going to URL link that in, okay, in this document.
Okay.
Now, you haven't got them URL links to actually paste in this document at this point in time.
Well, I can get them.
We are doing a psychological, I don't want to use the word destruction now, a psychological breaking down of their confidence and capability to implement an action, because this Loftus woman, she's going to get this on her desk before the incident happens, where she's going to decide that there's going to be a case, be it criminal or legal. Yeah?
Or civil.
Or civil, sorry. Yeah. So she's going to have this incontestable facts. And basically we're saying, if do you really want to do this? Are you seriously want to do this? Was it Claire, was it? Claire Loftus?
Yeah.
Because if you, now then, Claire Loftus is involved because she's the one going to be bringing the case. Right. She can only bring a claim under the Harassment Act of 1970, whatever it is. Yeah? Okay. Right. Her herself, therefore, is committing fraud. Okay. Because she's making a claim. Right. As the claimant in the court, as the DPP, as a claimant in the court, she's also committing a criminal offence of fraud. Okay. Because she cannot bring into that courtroom the evidence that the 5 million people in the Republic of Ireland have formally agreed to the government and given their power of attorney and signed that consent to the governed. Therefore, her claim in the court is illegal and criminal. She's committed fraud. Okay. She's committed malfeasance in the office. So this is a two-pronged offensive. I'm not going to use the word attack anymore.
Good.
So not only have we discredited the judge's capability where there is a conflict of interest, and the judge cannot preside because he does not have the legal authority to do so, there is also a conflict of interest with the judge because he is a government employee confirmed by the law.
He or she. Yeah, he or she. They have quite a lot of female judges in Ireland. Okay, so we'll be putting the judge on notice also that should.
No. We've got nowhere near the judge. There's no case in court.
But what I'm saying is, we would be putting a potential judge. We would be putting actually the Director of Public Prosecutions on notice that by instituting proceedings on behalf of somebody else, i.e., not the complaint.
Never mind if it's on behalf of somebody else. It will be her, because someone's made a complaints. It will be her that's bringing these proceedings and making a claim under the Harassment Act 1977 or whatever year it is. I forgot what.
That's what you're saying, is that she doesn't have the right. Only the victim has the right to make a claim.
But the victim doesn't have a right to make a claim under an act or statute of Parliament either.
Because acts and
The
statutes
victim has a right to
are
be
not
dressed
lawful without consent, without wetting.
without the consent of the governed.
Okay.
It's illegal and criminal to do so. It's fraud and malfeasance. So this Loftus woman, by bringing the case, by making that claim under the Harassment Act, she's committing fraud. She's committing malfeasance in her office. And by combining these two, she's therefore demonstrating intent to cause distress and alarm, which is a willful and belligerent act of terrorism. So her bringing that case into court, okay?
Yeah.
We've already got this woman nailed, banged to rights, legally contained, where she will be faced for commercial charges for 15 million.
Okay.
15 million. This is going to shake her up.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, so, okay.
So there's two things. Now, it doesn't matter whether that's civil or criminal. If she brings that case by making a claim under the Harassment Act, she's already a criminal.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right, I got it. Yeah, I got it. So I got it. Thank you. Right. Yeah. So I can put the links in as we compile this.
We've still not got ready to compile.
Okay. Carry on.
I've not finished talking about the DPP.
All right, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Because if she elects to do a civil, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Now, these are civil proceedings under the court's, the contempt of court reporting restrictions. No judge can implement the use of force or hold you in contempt of court, where basically you've told the judge, and I actually did this in real life, but I didn't send it to the court. I sent it to my ex-wife and her lawyers. Basically, district judge Lassie could go and take a long walk off a short pier because he cannot hold me in contempt of court.
Right.
Because it's civil.
Okay.
So therefore, you've defeated, and even if Ricky DEARMAN wins his case in a civil court, basically you can sell him to go and take a flying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And you're not getting paid. You're not getting any of my cash. I don't pay criminals. No. And the judge cannot hold you in contempt of court because that would then be an act of terrorism.
Okay.
And if you did, you can drag the judge down to the RCJ.
Well, you
can then bring criminal charges against the judge in the RCJ.
In the four courts in Ireland.
In the four courts in Ireland, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, going back into what I was saying with my ex-wife and her lawyers, they did therefore make an application to in a different court, in a different town, went to Liverpool, made an application for penal because I'm in contempt of court. And their judge said, no, you're not having it, have a nice day, go away.
Right.
So that didn't work.
Okay.
Because it's a civil matter.
Okay.
So, right, so now you're stacking things up that we need to say in this letter and what order that we're going to do them in. So we would, to this Loftus woman we're going to address as you've started, we would bring your attention to the enclosed affidavit which was served upon the 657 MPs.
We would bring your attention to
the enclosed.
The enclosed, yeah.
65-page.
I think it's 64.
64, but then I put the declaration on it, yeah.
Okay, 60.
Yeah. The declaration's on the front.
Affidavit.
Affidavit.
Yeah.
Which was served upon.
Yeah.
All of the MPs. 657 MPs. Sorry, we need to put the numbers in. In the UK government and the Executive Office.
Yeah.
We will draw your attention to Exhibit C.
Exhibit C, yeah.
Put C in quotations, so it isolates the C. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas has been confirmed.
Yeah.
And is doctoring.
And what?
Doctoring. It's government doctoring.
Oh, and his doctrine.
Doctoring. I don't know. Yeah, doctoring. INE.
Yeah.
The state or a state is a company, and by that fact,
yeah,
is no different to McDonald's. And that's as this is doctrine. This doctrine can be referenced by any law degree students at university
yeah,
for his thesis or for their thesis.
right.
Next paragraph, we would also bring to actually use their names there instead of to your. Don't use the word your.
We would bring up here, you mean? What do I
Up
use?
there, yeah, where the word your is, take out the word your.
Yeah.
Use her name, Mrs. What was her first name? It's Claire Loftus' attention, yeah. Because I don't like the word you use your.
Right.
It doesn't identify someone.
Right.
Sharp eyes. We would also bring Mrs. Claire Loftus' attention to the same exhibit C.
Yeah.
In quotations.
Oh, yeah.
I know, I'm a stickler.
Yeah.
No, we've got to put that C in isolation while it's in quotations.
Okay.
That this has been confirmed by none less than the Lord Chief Justice. Oh, in 2008 by the Lord Chief Justice. It has been confirmed in 2008 by none less than the Lord Chief Justice Sir Jack Beatson, FBA.
Jack. Spell the second word.
Beatson, B-E-T-S-O-N.
That's Betson.
I'd have to confirm and look it up.
Right, Sir Jack Beatson, and what's the rest of it?
FBA. It might be B-E-A-T-C-O-N. Having thought about it.
Right.
That the Office of the Judiciary is the third down sub-office of the states.
Yeah.
/ straight after the word state / company.
Yeah.
And by that fact,
yeah,
then a judge has no more authority than the janitor at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Third paragraph. We would also bring Claire Loftus' attention to Exhibit B.
Yeah. Do I put B in inverted commas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where there is case in fact. See, I'm not using the word case law. This is case law, but it's case in fact. That's a government. It's a government recognised tribunal.
Government recognised tribunal.
That Mr. David Ward, and put that all up in uppercase. Has no liability for a claim made under the Traffic Management Act 2004. And the legal reason that Mr. David Ward, all in uppercase, has no obligation or liability under the Traffic Management Act 2004 is that the 63.5 million people in the UK, as of this case, in fact, in 2013, have not formally signed a legal consent, and put consent of the government in commas, in brackets, and therefore have no liability or obligation under the circa 8 million acts and statutes of Parliament.
And let me just read that back, because I don't know if that makes sense. We would also bring attention to exhibit and a government recognised there is case in fact that a government recognised tribunal that Mr. David Ward, there is case in fact in a government or from a government recognised tribunal.
From lowercase.
A government recognised tribunal that Mr. David Ward. There is case in fact from a government recognised tribunal that Mr. David Ward has no liability for a claim made under the Traffic Management Act 2004, and the legal reason that Mr. David Ward has no obligation or liability is that the 63.5 million people in the UK,
as of today, lowercase a.
This case in fact in 2013 have not formally signed a legal consent of the government and therefore have no liability or obligation. Therefore, he has no liability or obligation of the circa 8 million acts and statutes of Parliament, full stop. Okay.
Which would also be therefore inclusive. Which would also be there, not this one.
I'm just trying to avoid a really long sentence.
I know, but this is why you can't when you're doing legal.
Also be therefore inclusive
of the 63.5 million people.
Yeah.
In the UK.
Now, at this point, are we going to say and de facto the 5 million in Ireland or whatever? Are we going to say?
Yes, that's exactly what we're going to do.
All right. So say
these conditions also exist in every country on the planet, and therefore also exist in Ireland. Just where the 5 million people in Ireland, if it's 5 million,
these conditions also exist in the Republic.
They're all in uppercase.
These conditions, yeah, I know. I want it to be because this is important.
Yeah.
As in anywhere in the world.
And up to 5 million people in Ireland.
Thus require the 5 million wet ink signatures.
Well, we've not signed the legal. You know, the legal covers the wet ink signature.
Consent to such. Right, these conditions also exist in the Republic of Ireland, as in anywhere in the world, and thus require the 5 million wet ink signatures of the governed to consent to such.
Well, they're not governed in that case. We can't refer to them as a governed.
All right, so all right, you change that sentence then and make it better.
Well, yeah, you should start from the word governed, the people.
Right, these conditions also exist in the Republic of Ireland, as in anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And thus require the 5 million wet ink signatures of the people. Do I work instead of the governed, the people?
Yeah, because they're not governed.
All right, of the people to consent to such.
To legally consent.
To legally consent.
To be governed.
Consent. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And where there is no valid material evidence of any governed people. Now we are going to use the word governed, but we're going to refer to them as governed people.
Okay.
Then there cannot be a legal government because the one cannot exist in the absence of the other. We would also note to Mrs. Claire Loftus.
We would also draw the attention, we would also bring...
No, I would just carry on the same paragraph.
All right, okay. We would also note to Miss Claire Loftus is not very good English. We would also...
Yeah, but we are noting it to her. Or what other word can we use but note?
Draw attention to.
Draw attention. Well, the fact is that there is a signed document, you know.
We would also assert. No, that can be argued.
That's why I use the word note to.
All right, go on then. We would also note
to, yeah, Mrs. Claire Loftus.
Yeah.
That there is also a signed and legal.
Right. I don't want to use also too much. We would note to Miss Claire Loftus that there's also a signed
and legal declaration of no contest from the government.
Okay.
It is therefore conclusive.
Can I make another paragraph because that one's very long?
If you want to, yeah.
Conclusive. Yeah.
It is therefore conclusive that if Miss Claire Loftus was to bring a case and make a claim under the Harassment Act of 1977. We need to double check that if that year's. Just refer to the Harassment Act.
No, this is Irish law you've looked up, right?
Well, in that case, you would have to. I punched in the Harassment Act, and it comes under the judiciary.
Yeah, you're probably looking up UK law. It doesn't really matter, but I know what you're saying.
Well, she's still making a claim under an act because they cannot make a claim if it's not under an act.
Right, so I'm going to say make a claim under a harassment act. I'm not going to refer to under an harassment act. Yeah, okay.
An harassment act then that claim would be fraudulent in nature.
Yeah.
Fraud by misrepresentation.
Pardon?
Which is fraud by misrepresentation.
Yeah.
And carries a term of incarceration of 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's Mrs. Claire Loftus.
Yeah.
Would therefore be liable for commercial charges to the same degree.
Now, because the 64-page or 65-page affidavit is very long, I'd like to keep this cover letter just brief enough to have her decide to read it or tell somebody to read it. I don't want to send a 10-page cover letter with a 64-page affidavit. So can we keep this? Are we nearly?
Oh yeah, this doesn't need to be more than 1 or 2 pages long. In fact, it's not going to get much longer. Well, it is going to get much longer because I'm going to eventually paste you and give you, copy and paste you all the links. Well, no, we're just going to use the 5 against that did against the district judge, the 8 district judges.
But
so,
okay, are they not in the 64-page affidavit?
No.
Okay.
All because right. The affidavit predates any legal action I brought against district judges.
Okay, so we're going to show proof of where this has stood 5 times.
Yeah, well, actually, it is 38 times. But I've taken legal action directly in the private against district judges. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Therefore, we would also bring Mr. Loftus' attention to URL links below where Mr. David Ward
also bring attention to URL links below, yeah, where Mr.
David Ward has brought private commercial charges against 8 district judges for their agreed criminal offence. And that's where I need to then now send you the links so that you can, how do I shrink this down? I need to make this smaller. There we go. And shrink that down and go in there.
There's a chat, I think, if there's a chat with this.
I'm going to put it in the chat and get, so you can copy and paste the links from the chat into that document.
Right, so I think I'll have to stop share to get them.
Well, we'll save that document as it is.
All right, I'll get it. I'm looking in the chat now. I'm going to chat to you so you can chat back. So,
Hang on, I've not done it yet. I'm still doing it. Because I've got to open up a Word document, find these links, and then shrink that down. And then go back to this and go into the chats. And then paste them, CTRL, paste them there.
Am I giving anything away? Am I weakening my position at all by putting?
No, we are doing a psychological.
But am I weakening? Listen to me. Am I weakening my position psychologically or otherwise by making this video public? Because I know people in high places watch my work.
That is a very good point, and at this point in time, quite possibly not do that until we've got a result. Or a withdrawal, or we know the results that they are not, and then we can put this online later.
All right, so I'll just leave it unlisted. Now, the police will look at it because they've got access to all my Google data, so they will be able to see it.
And this is actually being recorded where? Online at the present? Or is it
I'm
recorded on
recording
your...
it on my PC, so you're saying don't upload it even on list.
Don't upload it, yeah.
Okay, right.
So now I've given you the links.
Right, hang on. I'll copy and paste them. Now I'll go back to share. It's only one of them I think it's taken.
Well, you're going to have to go back and get the rest.
Hang on, I did copy them all.
But it's only brought one in.
Oh, it's Facebook groups, permalink. Right, so I think I might have to do them one at a time.
Well, which one has it actually brought in?
Oh, let's see if it's done. No, they might have gone to the next page. Hang on. No, they haven't.
No, it hasn't.
Right, so I'm going to copy them one at a time.
Well, that was the first one that you got, so copy the next one down. District Judge.
I've taken it off, so I'm going to just do it one at a time.
Yeah. Oh, that's looking very messy. Why is that looking so messy?
Hang on, because I put spaces in between them.
Oh, right. Well, I wouldn't. I'd actually make it smaller text so it all fits on one line because
I will in the end. I'm just let me just do this first. Janie Mac.
you see they're not actually being live links as you're doing it that way. Well, they are live links because they've got the blue underline, yeah?
Yeah.
But then again, it's a printed document, so it won't be a live link in that case.
Right, I'm not sure if I've copied and pasted them right, because I think some of them are 2-page links. I suppose the way I can try that is to click on one. Oh, it's not. Right. I might have to do that again. This is messy. Right.
Well, I would use a smaller font and put them all on one line each, and you're using a space between each one.
Right, so I'm going to possibly ignore that above page and do this again here. Right, the first one is this. No, I won't do it like that. I'll correct it. Yeah, I think the mistake I've been making is I've been doing it line by line, and some of the links are 2 lines long.
No, all the links should be approximately the same length because they all end in a number. You know, the 79825.
Right, I'm going to just take this out. Right, I'm going to take that out. So the first link is this one. Copy. Have I got to put that in?
It doesn't start with HTTP. You've got.
No, I did. Hold on. Copy. All right, district judge. Paste. All right, and then I've got to copy these 2 lines of a link, don't I?
From the HTTP to the end where it ends in 14 with a /.
Right, so I can do that. Right, I think that's it.
Right, select both of them.
6907.
Well, that one ends in 114.
6907. 6907 is the next one. David, district judge.
Right, no, look. Where it ends in 14 with a /, highlight that. To the
First one I've done is now that's, yeah, How Latif, lean 001, right. And then I've put the link in, but it's not come up blue.
Not because you've not put a space at the end yet. Click space. See, that's not come up right because it should have a blue underline all the way across.
Now, I've got that, all of the link that you've sent me there, I've highlighted it blue. Can you see that?
Yeah, but it's only got the first part of the link as a link as underscore blue. It's not got the whole ending in 14 with a /. It needs to be all.
Yeah, it has got the 14 with the /.
Oh, there we go. It's something's just refreshed. No, it's all right. Okay.
I thought I'd already put that in.
Right.
See, there it is.
That's fine as it is. Now highlight that and the line above where it says HO. Now,
I have to put the title in separately from the links.
Because it's too long.
I'll do it again. I'm going to take out everything I've done to the end and do this exercise again. Right. So I've only done the first one correctly. Right. District, and I'm going to do this.
No. What I'm saying to you is make it all on one line. And to do that, make the font smaller.
I'll make the font smaller at the end because my eyesight's bad. And it is all. Can you not see my screen on my page?
Well, I'm looking at your screen now.
Are you looking at the letter I'm writing?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it is all on one line.
I'm on about well, you've got the word district judge.
Yeah. How Latif, lean 001. And then I've got all of what took you 2 lines in the chat to write. I've got it all on one line.
Yeah, because I've got this all on one line from district judge to the end of that in one line in a Word document by making the font smaller.
Yeah, but I have to do the link HTTPS. It starts with that. So the district judge is just the title of the link.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the lean.
What I'm saying, in order for me to make the link highlight, I have to do the district judge part separately like this, right?
Yeah.
Lean 2. Now I'm going to highlight lean 2 in full. Copy. paste it here. Go up one. Right, that'll do. Now that hasn't...
Highlighted. So
you said it refreshes in a minute, because I've done it all the way to 2797 / and anyway, they're just going to copy these anyway, because you can't click a link off a printed document anyway.
You can't click a link on a printed document anyway.
So it's all right. As long as it's accurate, which it is. I'll just do it like this. Paste. And then... District Judge. Why has this gone back to lien number 001?
You've not. You've got lien 001, 002, and 003 there.
No, it starts, look. 001, 00. Oh, here's 003. I've done 003, haven't I?
Yeah, you're on 004 now. And if you look at the file numbers, you've got 14.
If you look in your links that you've sent me, you've gone from 003 back to 001.
That's because it's a different judge. That's District Judge Gray. And it's a different lien.
Oh, right, different judge. Got you. Got you. Right, so I'll copy this.
I mean, every one of these links that you've got here, there's something like a 140-page document behind it.
Right. Okay, that's that done. All right, that's done. And right. I can reduce the font when I finished it. I put it on font 14 to type it out because my eyesight's bad.
Okay.
Right, so we put all the links in.
I actually reduced them down to like a font 9, so I can make better use of paper space.
Well, that's something I've learned. Something I've learned is that if I want to get somebody's attention, even if I might have a 4-page CV, I write a beautiful, succinct 1-page cover letter, and that is like, right, okay, I'll take notice of this. Edward Ellis, the equity lawyer I was telling you about, he writes endless documents going on and on and on and on, and all right, to a legal person, they might read it, but to somebody like me, it's like, oh, you lost me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to make this exercise transitions for the common man or woman.
No, we're not doing for the common man or woman here.
Wrong word.
We are addressing.
What I'm trying to do is to communicate to normal people.
No, we are not communicating with normal people in this document.
I
We
know
are
we're not,
sending,
but by demonstrating this document, you're not hearing me.
yeah.
I'm not talking about Claire Loftus. By making this video, which we may not release for 3 months or whatever, but by making this, I want to explain to normal people like you and me that this is what we do and this is how we do it.
This is how we do it, yeah.
But I don't want it to be really, really long, because even Claire Loftus, you know, the chances are, you know, we all know the higher you climb the ladder, the higher the price you probably.
I care not about Claire Loftus's.
No, but what I'm saying is my goal is for her to read and act in my favour based on this communication.
She might not be. We don't care if she's acting in your favour or not. She's gonna she's gonna read that affidavit, and she's gonna be extremely distressed, and she might even quit the job.
All right, so some people,
especially if you read one of them links about what I've done to District Judge Lateef.
Right, but what I just want to explain to you something about the Irish culture, right? The Irish are rebels, even the proddy judges and legal people, right? But the Irish, it's in our DNA to be rebels. So they might think, right, these clever clogs Brits trying to overthrow our government as we know it and our judiciary as we know it, we'll show them a thing or two. That's a natural instinct in the Irish DNA, no matter what level of society.
Well, even if that's in the Irish DNA, the facts are still the facts. You know, if I actually took on board the perception of the people that actually reading this and come up with a defeated already conclusion that these people aren't going to read it, they're not going to be bothered, they're going to get, you know, if I took on that on board,
yeah,
people that I've sent these things to in the past, they do read them.
Okay.
And they quit the job.
Okay, so tell me what to write now to wind this up, or we can minimise.
Oh, we're not winding it up just yet. We're going to bring her attention to something else.
No.
And before we can do that, you need to go online, open up your browser, and go to Google.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're searching for the words contempt of court reporting restrictions.
Yeah.
And look for judiciary. Not Ian Doherty. Scroll down a bit. I'm looking where the .gov. Hang on, that might be it there. Yeah, CPS Gov UK. That one. Contempt of court reporting restrictions and restrictions on. Click on that link.
Yeah, which one?
Or move your mouse. That one above.
This one?
No, that's service. Yeah, that one.
Right.
Click on that. Now on the left-hand side, get rid of that.
Yeah.
On the left-hand side, you're looking for the word civil.
Civil contempt.
Civil contempt. Click on that. Now we want the first paragraph. Now then, while you've got that, first of all, copy the URL bar at the top, which is CPS Gov, all of that. You want all of that as a link.
Okay. I'll put that in the chat.
Put that in, now put it in the document. We would draw Claire Loftus' attention to the following, and then go next line, post that link.
All right. Right. But that's UK, but never mind. Okay, yeah.
Doesn't matter. Contempt of court is a contempt of court, regardless of where it is on the planet. In a
It's
civil matter.
okay.
Now go back to it return twice or once to bring to a new line.
Yeah.
Go back to the website. Now highlight from the word civil contempt in the first paragraph.
Just that much I'm highlighting, the first paragraph.
Including the civil contempt.
Oh, right, okay.
That's it. Copy that, paste that into your document.
So I've gone, we would draw Miss Claire Loftus' attention to the following, and
now we're going to put what it said on that page, yeah?
okay, all right.
Yeah.
I've done that.
And then you can carry on. We would therefore note to Miss Claire Loftus,
Yeah.
that to be held in contempt of court in a civil matter
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
a willful and belligerent act of terrorism,
Yeah.
which is why the judge is not allowed
Yeah.
to implement contempt of court
Yeah.
in a civil matter.
Yeah.
And the function of the contempt of court reporting restrictions
Under function.
and the function of is to restrain the judge from undertaking such an action.
Okay.
Now we've pretty much covered it there. So we need to do an end salutation.
Yes. I respectfully.
No. This is what you do if you write into your mate up the road.
All right.
I would then say, so let it be said, so let it be written, so let it be done.
All right. So, okay. So let it be said, written, so let it done. Yeah.
Next line, without ill will or vexation.
Yeah.
Next line, for on behalf of the principal, your name in all upper caps.
But my name in upper caps, that's the fiction me, that's not
fiction
the real
name, the fiction name.
For and on behalf of the principal, Angela Paradisney, yeah.
Next line, oh, put a full stop. Next line.
Yeah.
For and on behalf of the Attorney General.
All right, so I'm going to just capitalise that for and on behalf of the principal, Angela Paradisney, for behalf of the Attorney General.
All lowercase, with a capital A on attorney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the House of Disney. Of the House of Disney, yeah. In lowercase. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, yeah. Full stop. Return. Next line.
Yeah.
Phone on behalf of.
Yeah.
Baroness.
Yeah.
No, put Baroness with a capital B, but all lowercase.
Yeah.
Angela, capital A, all lowercase. Of the House of Disney.
For and on behalf of Angela Power Disney of the House of Disney, right?
No. Phone on behalf of Baroness Angela.
Yeah.
Of the House of Disney.
Gotcha. Now, Disney was my married name and I'm divorced, but Disney is on my passport and driver's license and everything like that. So is it?
Yeah, well, we're keeping that.
Okay.
Now then, highlight all them 3 lines and right justify them. No, not copy. Go to the top, right justification. Go to the top where it's got the B and the I and the U.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, right justify them.
Justify.
Okay. No, that's sent to justify. Go to and it's numbered them as well. So, go to the box to the left. I think I can't quite see. To the left of the one you clicked on.
This one that says align right.
Align right, yeah. But we don't want the numbers. Set the numbers out. Okay.
Hang on, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'll just do this. Look.
And return. Yeah, return that. And check out. Delete the one. Go. Do a delete Bassett.
Right.
Right. Now, when you sign this, you're signing it on the right-hand side. And in a purple pen.
Right, that'll do, will it?
Yeah, that looks great. That's fine. Oh, you don't want them spaces. Don't put spaces in.
Right.
Exactly like that. We're not needing spaces.
Okay.
And now go back to the top of the document.
Yeah.
Because you need to make some space there. Return down and make some space because you need your address in the top right-hand corner.
I was waiting for that because we were doing it on. I put Oldcastle in the barony of 4.
Say again.
Oldcastle is known as Oldcastle in the barony of 4. F-O-R-E.
Is it? Well, you are Baroness of the Barony then. Oh, he just highlighted it. Oh no, don't tab it. Go back. Yeah, all right. You do it your way.
All right, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, do that. That looks good.
Right.
Now go to the end of that word and do a line return and put their address.
Oh, hang on. Right. Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Contact us. Right.
Right, copy and paste all that address.
Right.
Now, above that line, you want for the attention of, this is, so go back to the top and do a line return.
Yeah.
No, that's at the very top of the page.
Oh, sorry, you didn't want it there.
No.
Where do you want it?
Go to the end of Ireland in your address and do a line return. Right. Put her name for the attention of.
Right.
And then return again and care of.
Right.
Right. So that's it. You go.
Let me just see if I've spelled her name right. Publications about us. Right. Yeah, I've spelled her name right. Claire Loftus.
Claire Loftus. Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, she needs a. I wasn't gonna. I've got to return.
Right. No, we won't, because we're going to publish this later, so we won't be rude. Right. For the attention of Miss Claire Loftus, DPP, care of. Right. Now I'll take this down to. I wonder how many pages we've gone to. And I'm going to sign it over there.
You're going to sign it on the right, not the left.
Hey?
You're going to sign it on the right, not the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to see if it gets it down to 2 pages. If I take it down to a 12.
Type a number in that third box along. Type a number there. Take it down to 10.
I don't want to do it in 10 because I want this to be legible. I want to see how many pages it goes on. 1, 2, 3. No, it hasn't taken it down. Right. So I'll try again. Yeah, that worked.
That did work, yeah.
But it's still down. It's still on 3 pages. So I'll try it 10.
Bring it down to 11.
But it's very hard to read when it's down so
It's
small.
for you. This is not your problem. There you go. And that's still 11. I use font size 10 a lot. And I don't care if they're squinting and getting a headache.
Right, that's nicely on 2 pages.
But your formatting's gone a bit squiffy at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Right and justification's gone a bit daft. Why has that one come back?
It's gone again. Oh, right.
Delete left. That's it.
Right.
Save that.
Now do you want to, shall I read it back through or not bother?
Well, I know what I've said. You
Loftus.
You can read it.
Right. But right. And is my introduction good enough? File with you for consideration on foot of a complaint filed by UK citizen Ricky Dearman against myself, Angela Paradisney, allegedly for harassment.
Mm-hmm.
We would bring Miss Claire Loftus' attention to the enclosed 65-page affidavit, which was served upon all of the members of Parliament 657 in the United Kingdom Government and the Executive Office. We would draw your attention to Exhibit C, where it's been confirmed and is doctrine that a state is a company, and by that fact is no different to McDonald's. As this doctrine can be referenced by any law degree students at university for their thesis. We would also bring Miss Claire Loftus' attention to the same Exhibit C, that it's been confirmed in 2008 by none less than the Lord Chief Justice Sir Jack Beatson FBA, that the Office of the Judiciary is the third down sub-office of the state company, and by that fact, then a judge has no more authority than the janitor at McDonald's. We would also bring Ms. Claire Loftus' attention to Exhibit B, where there is case in fact from a government recognised tribunal that Mr. David Ward has no liability for a claim made under the Traffic Management Act 2004, and the legal reason that Mr. David Ward has no obligation or liability is that 63.5 million people in the UK, as of this case in fact in 2013, have not formally signed a legal consent of the governed, and therefore has no liability or obligation under the circa 8 million acts and statutes of Parliament, which would also be therefore inclusive of the 65.5 million in the UK. These conditions also exist in the Republic of Ireland, as in anywhere in the world, and thus require the 5 million wet ink signatures of the people to legally consent to be governed. And where there's no valid material evidence of any governed people, then there cannot be a legal government, because the one cannot exist in the absence of the other. We would note to Ms. Claire Loftus that there is also a signed and legal declaration of no contest from the government. It is therefore conclusive that if Ms. Claire Loftus was to bring a case and make a claim under an harassment act, then that claim would be fraudulent in nature, which is fraud by misrepresentation, and carries a term of incarceration of 7 to 10 years, and that Ms. Claire Loftus would therefore be liable for commercial charges to the same degree. We would also bring Ms. Claire Loftus' attention to Earl links below, where Mr. David Ward has brought private commercial charges against 8 district judges in the UK for their agreed criminal offences. We would draw Ms. Claire Loftus' attention to the following. Civil contempt refers to conduct which is not in itself a crime, but blah, blah, so we know that's there. So we would therefore note to Ms. Claire Loftus that to be held in contempt of court in a civil matter would be a willful and belligerent act of terrorism, which is why a judge is not allowed to implement contempt of court in a civil matter. And the function of contempt of court reporting restrictions is to restrain the judge from undertaking such an action. So let it be said, so let it be written, so let it be done, without ill will or vexation, for and on behalf of, blah, blah. So that's 2 pages at font 11. You think that's good enough?
That's absolutely superb. It's crisp, it's sharp, it's to the point, it gets everything across. You've got a 65-page affidavit. She will be drawn to and therefore must read those files.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is, and we've noted the fact that it's been served upon all 650 MP. This is how this is what I do. You know, this is why I've done this 38 times, and I've got 1.95 billion in government-backed securitized commercial liens. This is exactly what I do, exactly how I write it, and yes, it is powerful.
Okay.
Now you're going to print that.
One more question I wanted to ask you. You know, you said the commercial liens, you'll convert them into crypto, and therefore you'll be able to draw them down. Even though those people won't have 22 million or whatever like that, but what punishment will they receive for wronging you? Will it be that you will attach their earnings and their offspring's earnings up to 7 generations?
No, the fact is, because we know they will not, and we do not have any means to implement any use of force where we can actually go and punish them in any way, because it's impossible to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as part of that legal process and procedure, they have actually made amendments for their crime.
They've made amends by not contesting what you say, which allowed you to then get restitution on crypto.
No, by agreeing to stand as a surety for a securitized commercial instrument by the way of a lien. Okay? Which
And
when
if
that
they don't
document,
want to agree to that, what do they do?
it's actually, it's the way you word it. I've given them 7 days. This is a 6-week legal process, don't forget.
Okay. Okay. And then just even though I've made my decision to take the high road, tell me, this is just the human me speaking, right? Some people's experience using different, not using what you've got, but using different legal procedures, whether common law or free man on the land or whatever, some of their experience has been because they riled up the legal profession so much, they got treated much more harshly.
Well, how more is it when you put a £30 million or £60 million securitized commercial lien against a district judge? You know, I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm not in jail. I'm still here.
And long may it continue until your dying day of a long age. May you enjoy a peaceful and long life. Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of people doing all this freeman on the land common law stuff, and yeah, it will rile them up because, and I'm going to use the most succinct example of that. You're taking your box of drafts or dominoes into a chess match, and to do what you're doing, you are an imbecile.
Okay.
You've got to get your head around what the situation is, first of all, and not to do it incorrectly. So yeah, they're going to get frustrated and annoyed. And personally, everyone that actually does that, I would bang them all up in jail.
What do you mean, anybody that does it wrongly?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's not get if I were king of the world about this. They're trying their best. They're trying their best. Everybody's trying to get this right, you know?
But why is it that everybody is trying? I did not try to get anything right. I went to one case. I didn't actually go. I won the case without actually going to the tribunal because I did it all in writing. That's not trying. I've won the case. That's cause and effect. That's doing it the right way because I know what I'm doing. Now that's called doing due diligence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Using the correct processes and procedures.
Yeah.
And why should anyone be trying? Well, if they are trying, then they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, well, I know you're hanging me up on that word, and I agree with you. You know, you can't try to walk. You either walk or you don't walk. So I don't want to argue the word, but like the people, good people like John Patterson, Carol Woods, Field McConnell, they are locked up. I don't know about Sabine McNeil. There's questions over whether she knew about the money laundering and company activity and so on, whether she's been involved with forced adoptions of a different nature in the 60s and 70s. I can't stand in the gap for her complete innocence, but I can stand in the gap and say she's 74 and disabled and she doesn't belong in prison. You know,
absolutely doesn't belong in prison, and she absolutely should not be in there.
Yeah.
Because the people that are keeping her in confinement do not have the legal authority to do so.
Yeah, and also it's been agreed that she can be extradited to her country of origin, which is Germany, but they're just dragging their feet like with Julian Assange. That all that needs doing to extradite her as agreed is for a ticket to be bought and for her to be...
And the people that are going to extradite her to Germany do not have the authority to extradite her to Germany.
Well, she wants to get to Germany because in Germany, harassment carries a maximum penalty of 2 years and she's already served more than that. She's playing it in the law system. I do get that. She didn't have the guts.
It's a system of crooks. It's definitely not law.
Okay, well, I won't bother getting into her case, but my heart hurts. John Patterson's health is really suffering. He's in Chelmsford, Nick.
It's actually very, very easy to get these people out of Chelmsford, Nick, out of jail, out of a what's called an illegal detainment, be it in jail or be it in a mental institution.
Yeah, Carol Woods, they've cooked up such a lying narrative. We've got a copy of her care plan. I think her daughter gave it to Andy.
Nobody around this person or that person herself knows how to escape, not to escape, but to remove themselves. Okay. And what I'm saying is extremely easy to do.
They're force medicating her. They're forcing her to take injections once a week.
Yeah.
The mental institution has just got her in. They've said that she's delusional, and she's got proof and proof and proof, like we talked about, football fields worth of proof and evidence. And they've sectioned her, and they've written that she's a danger to herself and to others.
She must have had legal representation in the court.
No, they didn't have a warrant to arrest her and put her and section her. They didn't. It's all illegal. It's all unlawful. And they've held protests. They've held protests outside the mental institution she's locked.
Was there a court case?
No.
So they've just basically grabbed her, kidnapped
her and locked her up, yeah.
Right, okay, that was perfect, right? In that situation, the ones that are holding her, right, which is going to be the CEO or the director of the institution where she is.
Yeah.
He's liable. He is liable.
Right.
Okay? Right. And all you've got to do is, because she was not represented in court, therefore she did not give away her power of attorney, therefore she gave
her power of attorney to possibly her daughter or to Andy Devine, I think she had, or maybe Neelu Berry. She's tried everything. She's tried everything.
Neelu Berry, don't go with Neelu. So I just don't, okay? All she needs to do is a writ of habeas corpus and write it up, sign it, and give it to the CEO of that institution. Okay. And he's got to let her go. He doesn't have a choice.
All right.
Now, if you combine that with this affidavit, so get it to her, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll advise her. She's got a core support group of campaigners. The main one is Andy Devine, although they're not allowing Andy Devine to communicate with her or with John Patterson in prison because they know he knows what to do. But
somebody on the outside
he lives in Greece.
I know he is in Greece. There's a lot he can do from Greece. Somebody on the outside who knows her family, okay?
So the daughter needs to draft a habeas corpus, attach it to your affidavit, and send it to or deliver it to the CEO of that mental institution.
Yeah.
All right.
Kin. She's got next of kin.
Okay.
You know,
John Patterson the same. He's in prison. He hasn't been to court. I think he's on remand, but they've got him in prison, and he's in very poor health. He's 70. They're such bullies. They go after elderly people.
And the writ of habeas corpus will get them both out because he's not had a trial. She's not had a trial.
No, that's true.
And that's exactly where the writ of habeas corpus fits because there's been no trial. It's an illegal detainment.
Even though the nurse has written up nurse or whatever she calls herself, has written up a care plan saying she's a danger to herself and other people.
We don't care what the nurse says, or even if she is a government licensed medical practitioner. Right. Because by the way of the fact that she's a government licensed medical practitioner, there's a conflict of interest because therefore she's licensed to be a criminal.
Okay.
And there can be not any detainment by these people unless they are a government licensed medical practitioner. And the fact that they are a government licensed medical practitioner creates a conflict of interest. The social services for adult care tried in 2016, December-ish, 2016, to incarcerate me under medical, I'm a nutcase.
Mental health act, yeah.
They failed, and they failed miserably, and they ran away in terror because I put a document together with the affidavit pointing out the facts that there is a conflict of interests and that their doctor, which wouldn't be a doctorate, it'd be a licensed practitioner, assessor for whatever, there's a conflict of interest because she's a government licensed practitioner. And they absolutely run for the hills. They did a 180-degree turnaround, cease and desisted immediately with one letter.
Right. Right, because Nilu's managed to back them off with her. I know you said don't go with Nilu's tactics, but shit, they've tried to section her a few times and they've never succeeded. And with Edward Ellis, he needed kidney dialysis and they refused to give it to him unless he agreed to be assessed under the Mental Health Act. So he's
Mental Health Act, another act of Parliament.
Yeah.
Richard Lord.
Okay, right. I'm gonna.
And Nilu, my word, that woman is so locked into common law. You can't shake her loose.
No, well, let's just work with those that want to find the solution rather than trying to change everybody.
Yeah.
You know, this is up to people to wake up to bit by bit. And I would love to be a demonstration of how this worked in Ireland. I would love that. And that would also be considered very dangerous by the Irish authorities. So they might resist it. I don't know. Because they know I'm a...
The authorities themselves are criminal by default because the Irish people have not signed that legal document.
Okay.
Yes, this is definitely going to upset the Irish authorities. What do you think I've been doing in the UK?
Yeah.
Upsetting the authorities.
Yeah.
Starting with the case that I won and then serving an affidavit on all the MPs and then leveraging that as a foundation and evidence in facts to criminally charge commercially the executive office of government, Sarah Pye. She's in the executive office. Timothy Day is a lawyer in Warrington Borough Council. Joanne A. Smith, 8 judges, bailiffs, lawyers, barristers. I've definitely upset the UK government.
Okay.
But I'm still
leaving
here.
you alone.
I am still here.
Okay.
And that's the difference. Doing it the right way.
Okay. All right, David, we'll wind this one up for now, and I'll do the other 2 affidavits and try and get a habeas corpus on my... Am I understanding right? I'm going to do a habeas corpus on my computer and laptops.
You're going to look up what's required to do a writ of habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus to get my...
Writ of habeas corpus and in Google, yeah? And look through all the Google things, whatever it comes up with, until you find the one that says the words illegal detainment, because they'll say unlawful incarceration or unlawful. The word unlawful is incorrect. It's in the incorrect context. Find a section.
Next week. I'm delighted to have got this done.
Yeah.
And I put that in the post. It won't go till Monday now, but I will put that in the post on Monday. And then I'll talk to you again next week about what to do with the other 2, because you told me to print 3 at this stage.
Right. We're not actually going to need 3, because the only people we can send correspondence to at this point in time is this woman and the other guy.
Ricky Dearman. I don't think I'll send him one because I don't officially have his address.
No. Listen, this is psychological tactics. You're not going to write a letter to Ricky. What you're going to do is you're going to print that off 3 times. You're going to keep yourself a copy, your hard copy.
Right.
And you're going to the one that you're going to sign. You're going to send to this woman, DPP woman.
Yeah.
You need a copy of the affidavit.
Yeah.
That's one brown envelope, and then you're going to use another brown envelope, and you're not going to sign that one. You're going to write on it copy.
Right.
So you're not going to write or address anything directly to Ricky.
Okay.
You're going to put a copy. You're just going to write the word copy on it, yeah, and send it to him via their address, because you've not got an address for him.
Oh, okay. So I send the second one as a copy, unsigned.
Unsigned, with the word copy on it, yeah. You're going to write the word copy on it in ink.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you've sent this to the DPP.
Okay.
Therefore, he's got full visibility of what's going on. And Ricky, that's going to upset Ricky no end. That's probably me. Hang on. Messenger. Mike, accept. Just give me a minute with Mike.
Right. And the other one I might use for the copper that's got my stuff, that took my stuff and took the statement off DEARMAN.
Now there is another thing we want to do. We need to do, you want to get your stuff back? Yes.
Yeah, well, let's tackle that next week, because that's brilliant what we've done today.
That's a great answer.
Hi, Mike. I'm actually on Zoom with Angie.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
Can you hear?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. I'm sorry. I've kept Mr. Ward very busy for a few days.
I've been in conference since 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go, David. And David, I'll print up that letter and I'll post all that on Monday, and I'll talk to you next week. I'm going to take the weekend off, technically.
Yes, you take a rest.
You do the same. Did you get a good response to the second video, or are people still contacting you?
There's going to be a lot of comments and stuff on that as well. You know, but it only went live. What was it? Yesterday, last night.
Last night, yeah.
Last night, yeah. Give you the day.
All right. Keep up with the comments, and God bless.
Okay, you take care.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you.